What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Credit Plug Vlogs. Couple things to consider when it comes to a credit limit increase. Number one is going to be your credit score, right? So you're going to want to have good credit. Also want to consider the credit card issuer that you have your account with in which you want a credit limit increase, because certain institutions have maximum exposure. So that's the most that they're willing to extend for a particular customer or for a particular product. So sometimes you may have maxed out like the highest limit for a particular credit card, so you can't go any higher than that. Also, certain institutions will have periods in which you can request credit limit increases. For example, with Capital One, you can only request a credit limit increase about every 6 months. They'll grant you one. So just understanding how many credit limit increases you can request within a certain time frame. But the most important thing when it comes to credit limit increases is demonstrating a need for the additional credit. Now, I get this all the time where people say, hey, I have a great credit, I never miss any payments, but I'm not able to get a credit limit increase. Every time I apply, I get denied. So one thing you have to demonstrate is a need for the credit limit increase. Now, what would demonstrate a need? So if you're actually using the credit card, right? So if you have a great credit score, but you keep your utilization at 1% or at 0% on that card, then from the lender's perspective, they're looking at it like, hey, you're not even using the available credit that you already have. Why do you need more credit? And this has happened to me personally many times, right? When you get those rejection letters, right? And basically what it said was low usage of, current credit line, right? Meaning that, I'm not using it enough. You want to actually show the lender, show the credit card issuer that you're using the card, right? Because the credit card issuer is going to be incentivized when you spend more, because they make money every time you swipe your card, interchange transaction fees. So when you use your credit card at a particular store, the store owner is absorbing the transaction costs, right? This is called credit card interchange. So the bank or the credit card issuer and the payment network. So payment networks are Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. So these are payment networks. They just enable the facilitation of payments between different merchants, right? When you use your credit card, the credit card issuer, right, the bank, the underwriter, and the payment network are splitting that transaction fee. So that's how they make money. So the more you use your card, the more money they make. But it's not just you swiping your card. They want to make sure that you're a low risk. There's two different credit profiles, right, in how people use their credit, right? You have transactors and then you have revolvers. It's a credit behavior or type of credit customer who uses their credit card, but they pay it off in full or they pay it down very low. Now, a revolver is someone who's going to charge up credit and revolve the balance over, several months. Now, you don't want to be a revolver, right? Because revolvers are high risk, because the longer it takes you to repay your credit card is the more risk for the banks, and they don't like that. They like customers who charge up the cards and then pay them down quickly, charge them up, pay them down quickly. So one tactic that you can use in order to get credit limit increases is, and again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you just to go do this because you want a credit limit increase, if it makes sense, right? So one tactic that you can use is redirect your spend through a particular credit card, charge it up and then pay it down multiple times within the statement cycle. So let's say, you max your card out, right? And this might be harder if you have a high limit, because you don't want to get in unnecessary debt just to get a credit limit increase, right? But let's say you have, a particular credit card and you're, charging it up and you're making multiple large payments within the same billing cycle. What that's conveying to the credit card issuer is that, you're touching up against your limit multiple times, but you're also paying it down. So not only are you low risk, but you're also using a lot of the credit. So the way they may interpret that is that you need more credit. You don't have enough because you're charging up and paying down multiple times. So in order to avoid that, you're going to need a higher limit. So that's one tactic that you can use. And another key data point that you want to take attention to is, so on your detailed credit report, they have a data point that's referred to as high balance, right? So your high balance on your credit report for a particular credit card account, that's the highest reported balance ever on that account at that particular moment. Now, one thing you might want to do if you want to experiment a little bit and you're not going to be applying for anything anytime soon, what you can do is let a high balance report on your credit report at least just one time and then pay it off the next month. What that high balance is basically saying, when let's say someone runs your credit report, a credit card issuer runs your credit report, and they'll say, okay, on this particular account, this was the highest balance that you ever used, and this is your current balance. You have a $5,000 credit limit and your high balance is $4,800, and then your current balance is zero. So what that shows is that this individual customer has the ability to spend this high amount on their credit card and also pay the balance down to zero. And that's information that can be gleaned from your credit report. And another point I want to make in terms of like having high limits, right? So when you see people who have, very high limits, for example, with American Express, they're really giving high limits to people who spend a lot, high spenders, right? So if you're a high spender, you're a transactor and you're paying it down, that's who they're going to give high limits to, because you're low risk and you're spending a lot. And so they like those types of customers because they make more money off transaction fees, right? You basically want to convey to the credit card issuer that you're not a flight risk. You're not going to run up the balance and then not be able to pay. So they want to see that you're making multiple payments towards your balance, and then that you're using, frequent use of your credit cards, right? So if you're not using your credit cards frequently and you're trying to ask for credit limit increases, it may not always work. That's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Let me know your comments and questions in the comment section down below. And until next time, take it easy and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.